Hi, I'm Michael Shodroff, and I'm thrilled to take some time with you to share my observations from working extensively with small business owners. My hope is that you walk away from this session with some actionable takeaways to put yourself on a positive financial path. By way of background, I'm a private wealth advisor at Elks Brown, a division of Raymond James. For background, Raymond James is the sixth largest wealth advisory firm in the U.S. At Raymond James, we derive about 70% of our revenues from our advisory group. By that measure, we are one of the most focused wealth advisory firms in the U.S., managing $1.57 trillion in client assets. Personally, I have 30 years of experience across a number of roles within financial services: accounting, corporate and investment banking, institutional money management, institutional equity sales, and now wealth advisory. I also have an MBA from Northwestern's Kellogg Graduate School. And on the professional side of things, I'm a chartered financial analyst and certified exit planning advisor. Let's get started. I want to help answer the question, why work with a financial advisor versus doing this on your own? As a financial advisor, my goal is to make 2 to 3 highly impactful decisions each year for my clients. I act as consigliere for every one of my clients in different ways. I'm the person they talk to when they're too embarrassed to ask their friends, or they want to appear to have all the answer to their significant other. Let's face it, you wouldn't self-assess a serious health condition or the check engine light on your car. Why not have a financial advisor in your corner to help guide you on important financial decisions? Here are some of the things that I regularly get done for my clients. Things like financial and retirement planning. Just create a basic plan. Without a plan, what are you working towards? Once a foundational plan is in place, it's easy to perform what-if exercises and to modify for future events. The starting point of most of my engagements is building a wealth plan. This document starts by building your profile, including assets, liabilities, future intended large spending goals, such as college, second home purchase, large family vacations. We then model out your spending current and future, and we get to see firsthand if your portfolio can accommodate those goals. If there is a shortfall, we can collectively determine how best to meet that shortfall. Most often, I see a plan fail because clients underestimate their annual spending. Come to think of it, most don't appreciate that they probably spend more than they think. Investment consulting. What do you have now? Where should you allocate your dollars? And what will the portfolio look like in the future? Investment advisory is usually the largest source of opportunity for a client. Not only do I optimize portfolio allocation, oftentimes my job is to help determine a client's goals, then determine what products in the marketplace are best to address meeting that goal. There are numerous vehicles in the marketplace competing for your dollars. Those that end up on our platform have been thoroughly vetted by a team of professionals at Raymond James to make sure that those vehicles perform the way they are advertised. Obviously, this is no guarantee of performance, but more a comment about function. Believe it or not, the role of advisor often crosses over to psychiatrist. Market volatility doesn't feel good for anyone. When markets are volatile, I spend more of my time reminding clients that we have a plan and that the plan includes some volatility. No one really knows when that is going to show up. Another value add, tax optimization. Let's make the best plan possible to keep the dollars you earn. We can be thoughtful about what this looks like. One of the most valuable tools for a portfolio is active loss harvesting. Even in a healthy portfolio, losses within certain investments are inevitable. Loss harvesting takes advantage of those opportunities throughout the year to build a tax asset. Those losses can offset future gains, lowering your overall tax liability. Estate planning. Everyone needs a basic trust and estate plan. This is not just for the ultra-wealthy. The 4 basic documents everyone should have are a will, revocable trust, medical and financial powers of attorney, and letters of intent. How about risk management? Are you adequately insured? Is your family adequately covered if something should happen to the family breadwinner? If you have a co-ownership in your practice, do you have insurance on your business partner in case one of you needs to purchase the interest of the other? How about the access I have to a broad network of professionals? Sometimes my most value add is the network of people I've surrounded myself with. I do an extensive amount of networking with people that have skill sets different than my own and can be helpful to my clients and prospects. Now we'll talk about operating best practices and practical things you can do every day to limit your financial stress. Let's start with budgeting and planning. If you don't take the time to map out an outcome, you won't know how or why an outcome didn't meet your expectations. Consider setting KPIs. These are key performance indicators. By knowing what KPIs impact the financial performance of your practice, you'll know how to dial up or down these markers to derive a specific outcome. Some loose examples include, what is the seasonal nature of my business? How does this impact cash flow? What do average billings look like? How long does it take me to collect my receivables? What is my average cash balance? How about optimizing your cash management? We are past the days when interest rates were hovering around 1%. Nowadays, basic yield vehicles can be found that have low or no risk, yields that are above 4%. Why not invest your operating cash in a vehicle that pays 4% and also has next day liquidity? Furthermore, you can connect your operating bank account, even if it's at a different bank, to this account so the money can port between the two account types. I have clients that routinely flush their business bank account into an investment account that I invest according to their liquidity needs. We have conversations about it regularly, and I can move the money back to their operating account with very little notice. You should also consider building an emergency bank account to cover 3 to 6 months of operating expenses. Knowing this exists will help you to stay focused on your business instead of worrying about the episodic cash squeezes when those arise. This account can sit in a money market or savings account, sometimes FDIC insured, that also has a yield well above 4% in the current environment. How about lending? How valuable would a line of credit be? Consider establishing a securities-based lending account, which again acts as a line of credit, with the savings or securities account used as a collateral. The lending value depends on the amount and security type being held. You only pay for funds borrowed, so it costs nothing to establish this account feature, but this can be a very efficient way to access capital. This next slide is a savings waterfall, one of my favorite graphs. This representation is largely for your personal funds, but you can create a version of this for your business as well. This picture orders the priority of savings vehicles from top to bottom. The idea is to max out each bucket before you start filling the next bucket. So the way to think about this is, where should my next dollar of savings go? For example, the top bucket is the emergency fund. If you conclude that you'll sleep better at night with 6 months of expenses covered, you first need to fill this bucket before putting a dollar in bucket 2. Bucket 2 is the 401k company match. I want to fill this bucket next, as I will maximize the 401k match offered by my employer. From there, once bucket 2 is filled, fill bucket 3, then bucket 4, etc. I'm sure you get the idea from here. 2 quick slides on establishing retirement plan benefits for your employees. In some states, you're required by law to offer a retirement savings plan for your employees. More often, it's a basic benefit that employees expect to have. The first slide shows some of the various employee options that can be considered. As employer, you need to decide how much of this benefit to fund, while also deciding how to administer this benefit. It really comes down to the profile of your workforce and how much you want to give to them versus how much of the opportunity they will fund themselves. If you establish a 401k, do you also want to include a matching element? As a small firm, I'm guessing offering a profit-sharing plan is less of a priority, certainly when you start out. As we'll cover in the next section, the cash balance plan, also known as a defined benefit plan, should also be a consideration. This benefit is more for you, the founder, and the key people that are driving the outcome of the firm. Since you only need to get the plan started for now, the quickest way to establish a basic retirement plan is likely through your payroll services provider. Oftentimes, small accounts will start here and then graduate to an outside service to offer more bells and whistles and to expand the plan reach. Sometimes examples help. One of my small business owners was looking to introduce a retirement plan to their workforce. At the onset of the conversation, I was going to partner with one of my retirement specialists here at the firm. It quickly became apparent that the client didn't need an extensive plan, especially with no experience on how the employee base would adopt the plan. We quickly shifted gears and brought in the payroll company, in this case ADP. They essentially have a 401k in a box plan that they can offer with a startup cost that is pretty minimal. Just make sure you get them to agree to provide some educational services to your employees if needed, as this is not something that you want to do. Alternatively, if you think a more complex solution now is something your firm will grow into, an advisory firm like Alex. Brown, Raymond James has a deep retirement plan solutions business where we can act as a fiduciary and in numerous roles, from full fiduciary to sharing some of the plan administration responsibilities with other parties. For my retirement plan engagements, I partner with an advisor team that exclusively works in the 401k business and can handle clients from 1 to thousands of employees. Now, onto one of my favorite topics, the cash balance plan. This benefit is for you, the legal entrepreneur, and your key staff members. The plan is discriminatory, meaning it does not have to cover your entire workforce. How did this plan come into existence? The IRS and Department of Labor realized more than 2 decades ago that highly paid professionals were never going to be able to recreate their lifestyle in retirement unless more generous contribution limits did exist. So the cash balance plan was born. And right now, most of the AmLaw 200 have this plan in place. If you came from Big Law, you may have already had exposure to the plan. Maybe it went by a different internal name. But at most firms, this is a required benefit and most likely offered by your competition. Some of the plan features continue to evolve. As I watched some of the new rules come out, what is clear is that the IRS wants more people to adopt this plan. The cash balance plan should be the aspirational goal for every solo or small business owner. This plan allows for large, pre-tax contributions to a retirement plan. That money grows tax-deferred, just like traditional retirement plans. The one limitation is the lifetime contribution benefit of roughly $3.3 million. Hardly a limitation for many. Money is contributed to the plan annually. The assets are then managed as a pool with a targeted annual return in the mid-single-digit range. These assets are not meant to undergo major swings, so they are conservatively managed assets. The reaction I get from clients when I introduce the plan is consistent. Most have never heard of it, most immediately understand the benefit, and most are quick to want to work towards an illustration that can be used to assess the fit at their firm and establish the roadmap for adoption. By example, last month I established a plan for a 65-year-old owner of a small law firm. She had 3 employees to consider. Her maximum pre-tax contribution this year will be $329,000. Next year it will be closer to $340,000. More importantly, this can be accomplished by only covering a portion of the employee base. So this benefit is truly for the top earners of the firm. For her, there was a minimal cost in that she had to put some money into the plan for a couple of the employees. But overall, that burden was minor relative to the opportunity she had to take her taxable income down materially. I call it burden, but in reality, she was happy to reduce her tax bill and give another monetary benefit to the staff. If you see the graph in the slide attached, it'll give you a better sense for the contribution limits. The biggest benefit is that the plan can live in a retirement plan structure, meaning in the same plan year, you can still invest in a 401k, profit sharing plan, and the cash balance plan. If you're like me, you like to work, but your optionality goes up considerably as your nest egg grows. The last topic I want to cover is exit planning. I can be very helpful to you and your clients in this area. As mentioned before, I'm a practicing certified exit planner. When I mention that to people, I half wonder if they equate that with being a funeral home director. Kidding aside, I like to think of it as pre-M&A planning or simply business advisory, as an exit doesn't have to be planned for me to add value here. The Exit Planning Institute oversees the Certified Exit Planning Accreditation. The number of people with those letters after their name has accelerated in recent years. As a disciple of the Exit Planning Institute and their teachings around value acceleration, I believe that a business owner should have a sense for the value of their business most of the time. If you are aware of the value, you're likely going to be aware of what drives value. If you are driving value and can get those that work for you to do the same, you are maintaining great optionality and are putting yourself in a position where you're ready to act on opportunities. In short, value acceleration is the concept of running your business as if a sale is imminent and being prepared at all times for that potential. Consider this. Most business sales are forced by events like divorce, death, and disability. In theory, if you're always running your business at an optimal level to maximize value, then it will always be sale ready. I want to give you a short introduction to the 4 C's. 80% of the value of a business is made up of the intangible capitals, the 4 C's. Your ability to create, assemble, integrate, protect, and exploit intellectual knowledge can create significant wealth. The 4 intangible capitals are human capital, which is the measure of the strength of your talent pool and their ability to execute. Customer capital, which measures the strength of your relationships with your supply chain, or in the case of a law firm, the relationship you have with your best customers. Structural capital, C number 3, the strength of your strategy, systems, processes, capital, and financial structure. Are these scalable and transferable? And then lastly, social capital, which represents the strength of your culture, which pulls together the other 3 C's to elevate or detract value from your company. This plays into thoughts about succession planning. What is your succession plan? Succession planning can mean a lot of different things. Maybe your business doesn't have value if you step away. Is there a way for you to inject some continuity into the business? If you can alter your mindset to focus on the value of your business rather than thinking about the business simply as an ATM, you might find that there is a sustainable value that would be attractive to someone on the outside. In terms of maximizing value, how do you want to build your practice? Are there other capabilities that you should consider adding, or are you a better niche player that stays in his or her lane? Should you consider buying to grow? That is what PE does. PE establishes a platform, and they add pieces to the platform. How about access to capital? Is that a limitation to growth? Does a partial sale make sense? The last thought I'll leave you with along these lines is that PE consolidators are currently rolling up personal injury law firms. If someone knocked on your door, would you be ready to negotiate a sale? It was great spending time with you. We scratched the surface on a number of different topics. We discussed the benefit of having a financial advisor in your corner. We added some thoughts on managing your cash and creating a securities-based lending facility as a line of credit. We discussed the savings waterfall and retirement plan benefits. We talked about the cash balance plan. And finally, considerations around value creation and having a seller's mindset in building and running your business. Again, my name is Michael Shodroff, and I'm available to consult with you on anything related to your financial well-being. My contact information can be found here. Feel free to reach out, as I would love to be a resource to both you and your clients. Thank you.